Week 2 of the second season of the SPL is finally here, and this is an exciting one. Playmore takes on the LA Wakers, coached by none other than Joey Pokey-Aim, champion of the first season of the SPL. But Joey's won many leagues, many tournaments, laddered up and down all across the land, and Gen 1 through Gen 9? The man has been playing competitive Pokemon since the beginning. He's one of the GOATs. I've battled him before, Tyler. It didn't usually go well for me. And looking at this team, I think he's trying to trick us. That's a Squawkabilly, and that's a Dugong.
It's not just any Squawkabilly, John. It's Squawkabilly that he took with his first pick in the draft, and a Dugong that he took with his last pick of the draft. He's the reigning champion. We all know how good of a battler Joey is. He's come in confident as ever, but I tell you, if anybody's going to come in and break that up, it's this Playmore squad.
Led by our incredible coach, Ben. Ben, what are you bringing this week?
First, we have Iron Valiant with 4 attacks in the Babiri Berry. Babiri Berry, hopefully for us to eat a Bullet Punch from the Scizor and pick up a KO in return for Fire Punch. Leaf Blade obviously helps us for that Swampert as well, while Close Combat is just very spammable stab move that is very strong versus his team, and Knockoff gets rid of a lot of annoying items like potential Citrus Berry on Harvest Arboliva or a Violite on the Hisuian Quillfish. Next, we have Mr. Chompykins returning. This is going to be another defensive set this week to help us versus the likes of Cinderace as well as Thundurus and all that good stuff. We have Stealth Rocks, Flamethrower, Earth Power, and Dragon Tail. We are a special base Chomp this week. Reason behind that is since we are likely to be taking on the Cinderace, if we get burned, I want to still be able to deal with it well, and special coverage basically helps with that, as well as if we face a Terra Fire Seed Sower, Arboliva to get up the grassy terrain. Earthquake's not going to be doing much anyway, so I feel like we just get a little bit more out of the turns with Earth Power. And to make sure we don't get Hazard stacked, we are bringing Bubby Cyclizar back once again. I won't always be bringing Rapid Spin, but Joey loves his Hazard stack, and Toxic Spikes are very annoying against us since we're not bringing Amoonguss this week. We're rocking the Assault Vest just so we can help out a little bit more against Thundurus T or Arboliva in the matchup. We have Knockoff, Rapid Spin, U-Turn, and Iron Head. Iron Head is just to get a little bit of extra chip off on the Diancie or that Terra Fairy Arboliva if we do see it. Next, we have our first setup Pokemon in Metagross. This is going to be Iron Defense Body Press Metagross with Magnet Rise and Heavy Slam as well. Heavy Slam can pick up a KO on a max HP Latias, while in return, we're going to be focusing on Iron Defensing up on all those other Pokemon and getting off some big, heavy body presses. Now, Magnet Rise does allow us to avoid Earth Power from the potential Arboliva, Diancie, Earthquake from Swampert, or even like Drill Run from the Lycanroc Dusk. So this is very helpful here, and we are rocking the Occa Berry in order to eat a very strong Power Ball from Cinderace even after our boost, just to get the most out of it. We have 2 potential win cons. First one being Glastrier once again. Glastrier is the double dance set this week with Terra Fairy. We are very bulky in order to make sure we can wall his physical attackers after a few Iron Defenses and get a lot of damage off with Body Press. And with an SD and Avalanche, we are able to break through Terra Fairy Arboliva, Diancie, Swampert, you name it. It does a whole lot of damage, and it's going to be very huge this week, whether it's going to be the win con or weaken it for a final Pokemon. That final Pokemon being Ceruledge. We are being a very special defensive bulk up set this week with Flash Fire, not Weak Armor. I want to keep those defensive boosts in this game. We're holding the Charty Berry to hopefully take a Stone Edge or an Accelerock from Lycanroc Dusk a lot better and pick up a KO in return with the Iron Head. At +1, Iron Head picks up a for sure KO on Lycanroc from full HP, as well as a max special defensive Diancie at full health. Alright, let's show this Draco guy what the swamp is made of.
Thank you, Coach Ben. Tyler, I'm just excited to see what our opponent brought this week. And there's the Arboliva, as Ben was very worried about talking to us before the game, but also Diancie and Swamperts. I'm pretty sure he said that there is no world where we'd see both of them and the Hisuian Quillfish. This is not the team that we were told to expect. And that is terrifying because this is Joey. This is the Season 1 champion. So, hey, if we're thrown off a little bit and the coach looks a little thrown off, this could be an interesting battle.
Well, let me just read this word for word for what Ben gave us to get ready for this battle, talking about Diancie and Swampert.
Yep.
And I quote, "We shouldn't see both on a team, just one or the other." Here we are. Now, the one prediction that Ben got right, Latios, who was the star in week 1 for Joey and his team, had 3 kills in that match.
Yep.
Not here. So, correct call by Ben. Latios doesn't match up well with us at all. So you at least got that going for you. But then on the other side, immediately, I know mentally, like it's not a battle of mind games right now between Joey and Ben. I know right now Ben is just battling himself in his mind, like, oh my gosh, I missed this take. This is crazy to start it.
And no Lycanroc. I wasn't really thinking about that. That actually is really, really throwing me off not to see that. But before we get into the battle, I gotta talk about our one sponsor of the team, ourselves. Play more. Play-more.store. We still got some Bubby plushes. We got some shirts. Come on. Hey, you gotta get excited for this game. You gotta be rocking with Play More as we lead with the worst thing with a Cinderace in front of us. We are switching out immediately, Tyler. But
not excited about the start.
But you were a little skeptical on this Garchomp set. You wanted to see a little bit more, something a little bit more exciting. This is where we really see the genius of Ben and Garchomp. He likes defensive Garchomp sets, and if we see a Will-O-Wisp or just a Fireball over here, we're fine. Or just a little, rough skim damage as a treat. I'm fine with that.
The only thing that hurts there is a switch puts you in a spot where, at least at a moment, you either regain control or you're not on your heels.
Yep.
Immediately with the U-turn, Joey, knowing that Ben was going to have to switch there, he maintains control and here can get whatever he wants out there on the field for a favorable matchup.
Yeah, and, with the Cinderace, he's going to be able to outspeed everything on our team outside of Bubby. Bubby, our mascot, our friend, I'm excited to have him here, but that Swampert could go for an easy Ice Beam, but Joey knows he's going to be able to force us out. He can either make a easy prediction or just go for the Stealth Rocks. Obviously, he's got the momentum, and it's going to be really important for Ben to try and claw back a little momentum. I mean, we're still in a fine spot, but the Metagross switch is bold, and I like that because we're going against the best.
You're banking on the Ice move 100% here.
Yeah, and banking on the fact that we have the speed investment to outspeed, but there's a really... Ooh.
And the kills.
Ooh. Wipeout. Okay.
Wow.
We.
I wonder.
Spin zone?
Okay, yeah.
We got momentum back, baby. We got momentum back.
That is one I already want to ask Ben about if that was a roll, or B, is something we might get an answer to in the following turns if an item had something to do with that. Because that was a big hit. Wow.
Okay, I see where you're coming from there. I mean, with the play in general, I think this might be early game nerves, trying to play a little bit too big against Joey. I remember the first few times I played against Joey, and it's easy to get in your own head, but at least early into the battle, Joey wasn't making a bunch of crazy predictions. He's an incredible player. He's going to bring an incredible strategy. He's not playing it safe, but he's making the right play early on. There's no need to overthink it. You lead off with Cinderace, U-turn, go into the right Pokemon. Ice Beam's gonna kill the Pokemon in front of me. No need to do anything crazy. Let's just go for a stab Earthquake. It's simple plays. It's easy to get in your own head. Now that we do have momentum back, hopefully we can see Ben maybe not settle down, but just, take things a little bit slower here. Knock off, get rid of the Eviolite. Really, really nice. I do love this. But, Tyler, we do not want to see Toxic Spikes.
Not in the slightest.
Yep. Yeah.
Again, tough situation because you need to switch. Another unfavorable matchup where Ben is on his heels.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that is the move here, or if Joey makes the aggressive play and does try to attack with the Poison type move, knowing the threat that's on the other side with Iron Valiant. I'm very intrigued here to see what Joey does.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just, again, early in the game, I'm not going to expect some crazy plays from Joey. As we see Barrage, which, does that have a chance to poison?
It's got a pretty high poison chance. I believe it's 30%.
Okay, so that I'm happy about. This worked out. Hey, as I'm saying, I don't think Joey's going to make any crazy plays to start this game. Oh, wait, no. No, I thought it was
Barrage does more damage if you're poisoned. It may also poison you, so the chance isn't as high.
Right. Okay.
But still, a all-around fortunate play to come out of that with very little damage taken, no toxic spikes. That's the big thing there, and nobody poisoned.
It is really, really nice. We're gonna have to really play around the Quillfish well.
Yes.
And because Joey brought a little bit of a bulkier team, I think that's going to be difficult in the beginning until we can break through these Pokemon. Now, I do really like Iron Valiant's role as this week. It's not going to try to set up and win at the end. It's just going to try to break through the team. So getting Stealth Rocks up, being able to hopefully whittle things down little by little. If we could get Iron Valiant in at the right time, hopefully 2 of the very interesting sets we have in the back could break through this team. I say interesting a lot when I'm trying to be nice and say I don't like something. I genuinely mean interesting. I really like the 2 sets. I have no idea if they're going to work out, but I also do not know.
This is a super aggressive play.
Yeah.
To stay in with a move that isn't going to do too much damage.
Okay.
But it works out because Joey was banking on the switch.
Or, again, just going for like the straightforward
safe
move.
Play, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm really hoping that Ben is catching on to this. You don't need to win it with a big prediction turn 1, 2, or 3. At this point, we need to just kind of settle in, whittle down these bulky Pokemon. Swampert is not something that has any recovery at this point. We haven't seen leftovers, right? Unless I am mistaken.
All we've seen from it is that it's spamming Earthquake and it's doing a lot of damage.
And it is pretty free to spam Earthquake. I mean,
yes.
I guess it's something I hadn't really put a lot of thought into. If we don't bring not Iron Valiant, but Bird McGee in the sky, I mean, you can spam Earthquake like crazy against us. But I actually don't mind this.
Even with this team, Iron Jugulus does not have Levitate. So there's nothing to bring that's really a counter to Earthquake.
But it is flying, and it is Bird McGee, so don't forget that
It do be a Bird McGee.
Now, this is actually really nice here.
It's not here.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no Thunderous T, there's no Latios. You can just go straight for the Earth Power here. Right?
Fair. We were worried about those, and neither of them were there, and I think Ben was worried. Thank you. That was such good timing, Ben, to show us both teams.
Yeah.
We were very worried about those 2 threats. I think that's a free move here.
And we're going to see the Arboliva, and then maybe you go for the Flamethrower? Okay. Yeah, I see the vision here, right? Like, the predictions, a Flamethrower could have been a crazy play. I don't think it's worth it, and you get the drop here. I mean, Joey, I guess, should expect a Flamethrower now that he's seen Earth Power, but I don't see a reason not to just stay in. Earth Power. We're losing a second Pokemon, which isn't my favorite thing in the world, but, you're going to be able to bring something in on this. Or we could bring Bubby or the Bitterblade boy in the back.
I think Bubby's the safe move here.
It is the safe move. There was just so much fear thrown at me and you about this Pokemon that I'm now quivering in my boots, seeing it on the field.
We've heard a lot about how long this thing can stick around, be a nuisance, and really do more damage than it really has any right to do.
But I was being a little silly, a scared Sally even coming in, get the knockoff off with the Terra Blast, which I guess is Terra Blast.
Very smart move because when he's not terrestrialized, it's getting stabbed.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, it's
and
stabbed
then
without
coverage
that.
if he does terrestrialize.
Okay, well now that we've gotten rid of the item, he's staying in. U-turn feels like it has to be the play.
I agree.
I don't know what we bring in here, but I feel like this has worked out decently well. Like, let's not do anything too crazy here. It is tough because Metagross would have been really nice in this
Metagross
situation.
would have been a wonderful switch in here.
And it was meant to be.
And I think ultimately it probably does end up being last year. I don't know straight up how much damage it can do. I mean, it's going to hit decently hard, but not enough to scare you away from making this switch.
Yeah, and you know, I said it pregame. When you see this many different berries on a team, like, I think the mark of one of the better Draft League players is when you have all those different, you know, weakness berries. But now that Lycanroc's not there, you know, the item on our friends.
That stings.
If I ignore it, it didn't happen. The berry on is it?
Oh, it's Kyle.
Cyril Edge. Yeah, Kyle.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Kyle Kuzma over here.
I'm trying to ignore the crit, man. I'm thinking about that berry. You know, it'd be nice.
I don't know how to pronounce Cyril Edge's name either. We'll call him Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a berry, like a Shuka berry, to deal with the earth power, that'd be nice. You can't have a berry for everything, but that crit, if we really bring it back to that and I focus on what's at hand.
If we do acknowledge it.
That's really, 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 really bad for the end of the game because that was one of our 2 win cons. And now Ryan, your boy, becomes unbelievably important.
That's our winner. And now
really
Bubby
is.
has a pretty big role because he's going to see a lot more runtime with Kyle a bit damaged goods right now.
But at this point, how do we break through the Arboliva? I don't think the game is lost in any way, shape, or form, but I am really worried about... Oh, man, and it's fire. I was hoping that it might be fairy so we could Iron Head it. Now U-turn does even less. Okay. Tyler, what are the fantastic thoughts in your head right now?
I wouldn't call any of them fantastic. I would label them more as terrified. And it's what we talked about earlier in the match, and Joey has done a really good job of keeping his foot on the gas. Of from the moment he got an advantage and put us playing from behind, he has not given that up. He has not relinquished that with one bad play. He has not tried to play too cute like you talked about, hasn't tried to get too smart.
Yep.
He's done a really good job of just keeping that lead, not just in terms of, you know, how many Pokemon are left, but every move is Joey making a decision and Ben trying to play catch up. So right now we need something to swing that.
Yeah.
But more than likely, it's kind of out of Ben's hands because he needs Joey to make a mistake, and that's very rare.
Yeah, and it's really tough. You know, the Metagross.
Here's the good news, and I think we should really acknowledge this. We have 63 rapid spins left. Not enough people are talking about how many times Bubby can rapid spin.
People aren't talking about that enough. No, that is really big. Now,
I'll hand it over.
What I was gonna say is, you know, with that Metagross play, it's so easy to think, man, if Coach Ben didn't do that, we could have Metagross against the Arboliva. Everything could be a lot better. But now that we see, as I hit my mic, which is always good, that's a great sign. Everyone's doing a great job here. Now that we see Terra Fire, obviously we had the Aqua Berry, but Metagross really wasn't going to be what we needed against the Arboliva. No. So there is always gonna have to be some other way we got past this threat. It's not ideal, but if we're gonna win this game, you know, it was gonna come down to this situation at some point. So, hey, we're bringing in our win con here to break through. Joey did not bring the team that was expected from us.
You got a crit again! Bro, come on!
I'm not having fun. That was a crit against our max specially defensive Ryan. Tyler, the cat's got my tongue, and I'm allergic to cats. So.
Me too.
Wow, look at us.
How
go.
Inconvenient.
Yeah.
And I think from this point forward, I am allergic to giant olive plant hybrid things with fire lamps on their head.
Yeah, it's specific, but I'm with you.
But again, as you referenced, we knew this was going to be the problem, which is amazing, and I think speaks to the fun of Draft League, although we're not in a very fun situation. that something like Arboliva, which was assigned in this league 4 points, the strongest Pokemon you had to spend 19 points to get 4 points for Arboliva, you can make your Terra captain, and it can be such a terror to try to deal with.
Yeah, and a lot of people have talked about how we had one of the best drafts in the league, if not the best draft. And I mean, for Joey to hunt 2 of his picks,
it was basically like fantasy football, and he took a kicker with the first pick.
It just insane, but he might have taken a punter, man. It just insane behavior. The thing that's really difficult, and I kind of feel bad at this point in the battle where so much of the talking has been about Ben's play. But that is the 4th crit we have now seen. Obviously, the Metagross play was not ideal. We still don't know, did the crit matter? I know the rest of the crits have mattered. He's staring at us right now. He's staring into my soul. He's saying, John, you say one bad word, I will strangle you. And I say, Coach, I'm scared. Please. Coach, stop it. Coach, come on. You're bigger than this. You're better than this. You can figure this out, Coach. He doesn't look too happy over that. I don't know if those words helped.
Think he's pleased. I think this is one of those games where Pokemon doesn't have refs. I consider the RNG to be refs. As a coach, I feel like he would call a timeout right now.
Yeah.
And spend the entire time yelling at the ref.
No, absolutely. And I mean, no one would be upset with that decision, because now, I mean, we're bringing in Iron Valley, and the only chance we have is to outspeed, close combat, drop our defenses, and then, I mean, if he just goes for the Giga Drain or the Strength, it's tough to commentate a battle when it's not just that we've been on the back foot the whole time, but every chance Ben has had to gain a little bit of momentum, there's been a crit. And
yes.
It's difficult because it hasn't felt like, okay, Joey has needed the crits to be in the lead. But it's hard to really know what the battle would look like without them. It's been a really unfortunate game, man. I don't know if we kill here with a close combat. It could be a roll. I think we got to go for it regardless. But man, it would feel so good to get a kill.
We would have an easy contender for moment of the match.
And there it is on the board. 2 thumbs up from Coach, 2 thumbs up from me. Hey, Ben he's beaten down, he's frustrated, but Tyler, I don't know if I've talked about it in any of these battles before. I was famous within my household for doing one thing and one thing only in the battles. Before I did live commentaries, my commentary would basically be, I'm gonna lose, I stink, I messed up, my team sucks, but this, that, and the other. I'd walk out of the room, Nick, you'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, oh, I won 4-0. Yeah, it's really easy to get down on yourself, but what's really important is being able to keep your head in the game. Now, vocally, I'd get very negative. You wouldn't expect that I was keeping my head in the game, but I think we've seen in a lot of situations, Ben be able to keep himself in the game even when he got frustrated. I do not see the path to victory, but we still have 4 Pokemon, and as long as we have something for Cinderace, we do have Iron Valiant when it outspeeds everything else on the team, and Joey brought a very bulky team. There's not a lot of the offensive threats we were super worried about, so there's still a chance. I was expecting that to be a crit. Is that?
I was fully prepared.
Could that be like Specs Diancie?
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. No. it's just hitting hard.
That was good.
Well, and here the thing in this situation is that the intention of the Diancie, that could have been here the whole time for rocks, stealth rocks.
Right.
Just didn't need it, and Swampert could have a more attacking set. And now, because of the situation, no need for rocks.
Well, it could also be the other way around too.
Yeah, maybe the entire time Swampert was here for stealth rocks.
Yeah, and Diancie was more offensive now.
I've still got an inkling. I brought this up before the match, and that's why I wanted to spin. I still think that might have been Choice Banded Swampert. That Earthquake did so much damage.
It's really difficult with all the crits to see, and we don't have the calcs in front of us. I know that Bubby was AV, but obviously, I mean, a stab Moonblast from a Diancie is always going to do a lot of damage. It's hard to really know. I feel like I'm all over the place. We get a crit, we get a big hit. There's Pokemon we were told weren't going to be here. I mean, Joey's putting on a masterclass of skill and luck, the only two things you need in Pokemon.
That's true.
And you know what? We still have a chance here because Intimidate is now gone. Right, we outspeed everything except one Pokemon with this thing. If Cinderace doesn't have heavy-duty boots, it's going to really take some good damage from the Stealth Rocks, right? You know, at this point... What?
We also got pretty fortunate on that last turn. The Diamond Storm did not give a defense boost to the Diancie.
Yeah, but what's the madman over there doing?
I don't know.
Are we about to be embarrassed? Wow, Tyler, we are missing something. So, any guesses?
No.
Dang.
Not a single one. This was not in the realm of possibility that we were granted. I don't believe, if I look back here at what we were told about good old Diancie.
Hey man, yeah,
No.
I used a lot of Mega Diancie in my battling days. We don't do the Megas no more. I'm not very familiar with Diancie's indoor game. Oh my God, Custap Berry. That's what it is. Custap Berry indoor. Joey, this is what I'm saying. Joey's not going to make those crazy plays early. The teams he's bringing are something special. And Ben played that perfectly.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, this is why I am retired in the booth. And Ben's over there in the fun hat.
I didn't know that was a berry.
Yeah, Custap Berry is a really fun one. A lot of people like Custap Berry into Explosion on a few Pokemon.
That's sick.
So, at some point, I think Custap Berry was taken out of the games. It's back. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of where all the different berries go. But it was a fun one. That was definitely a fun one there. Actually, a pretty big deal now that it's gone because it dies to Stealth Rocks.
It does, but the problem here is I think there's still a pretty easy switch on the other side into Arboliva.
Well, right. Right, of course.
But it was cool for a minute.
Well,
Stealth Rocks hurts a lot.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? If we can continue to keep this thing weakened, Arboliva is not a very defensive Pokemon, at least physically. You know, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I know it's more of a specially defensive Pokemon. Okay, it does still have 90 defense. I was trying to really spin this into a good zone, but at some range, we will be able to take it out with a close combat. I don't know what that range is, but at some range, we will be able to do it. The Diancie is going to go down. Swampert could have a berry for the Leaf Blade, of course, but I mean, we're clawing back into the game. It's not over. It just is not pretty. I mean,
I'm now, and this reaches a point where I was able to, that did decent damage.
That's real damage.
Oh, it was a crit.
We'll
take it. We just need like 4 more of those. It reaches a point where I got to see in the practice battles. We could be here for a little while as both sides just kind of like wait things out because the Arboliva is going to be able to restore its health at any point.
Well, and we did mention it earlier. This was the Pokemon we were warned about the absolute most on the team. And with the set that was brought, I mean, it really deals with anything we have. Every Pokemon we have on the team, it's a matchup nightmare, but thankfully it's not another matchup that can really be like super exploited. You know, there's not a lot of Pokemon in drafts similar to this. Hey, we outside of that one crit, you know, Ryan, he's still hanging in there. He's still hanging tough. If we can just get this thing down to a manageable amount of HP, force it out, force it to switch back into Stealth Rocks, or maybe take it out with the Iron Valiant. I'm not going to give up hope. I'm not going to give up hope. I'm not going to give up hope, Tyler. Please find a way to delete Strength Sap from the game.
I've heavily campaigned for Darumaka to be added to the game.
Okay.
I think that's a fair swap.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Great Sap out, Darumaka in.
God, that
I didn't do a ton.
yeah.
That crit made it look a lot better for us.
Yeah, the terrifying fire. Did I say fying? It doesn't matter. This was not the Terra we were hoping for.
No.
No. That's the end of that thought.
I think we were really, really hoping
For Fairy.
for Fairy, and almost I think it was fair against our team to expect Fairy.
Hey, look, another crit.
I think Fairy was. I think there was a lot of stuff that was very fair to expect.
Oh, absolutely.
And it makes it to when now that those tendencies were broken. Well, it's hard to call them tendencies. Just the clear expectations were broken.
Yeah.
It's so hard to bounce back from that because the team is built for what on the other side seems like it makes sense. And you've talked about it before. It's very common in draft or competitive Pokemon where you'll see people get into arguments because one team either doesn't bring or doesn't do what the other person thought they were going to do, and then the other person's like, oh, you're silly, you should have brought this anyways, and I would have beat you if it is. It's like, oh, I did bring it and I won.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I remember someone leaving a multiple paragraph essay because I made a play which won me a game, but they thought the play I made which won me the game was so unbelievably stupid that I should be booed loudly for making a play that won me the game because it was stupid for me to. People can really go in circle and circle and circle. At the end of the day, you bring a team that wins. That's all that really matters. Right. And with this Arboliva, with the Terror of Fire, it's easy to really see the vision, and it's also easy to understand why Coach Ben brought that Earth Power. Earthquake's really the thing you want to be taking out of fire Pokemon like this, but obviously it wasn't in the cards with the grassy terrain. And as we really look through the squad, there's not a lot that we really had that wanted to deal with this. Obviously, the Metagross was something that we thought could possibly deal with it. The Terra Fire is then going to really help obliterate straight through that. We have the Vaporeon, the grass, you have a moon. You go down the line and it really isn't too pretty. It's incredible prep on Joey's part, aided by some very unfortunate crits. But the thing that I'm really going to be interested to talk with Ben about is if things had gone perfectly, how do we deal with the Arboliva? I'm not ready to wave the white flag yet, but I'm waving the white flag.
You could pick it up and hold it there.
Yeah.
You don't have to add any motion. It could just be held, and if the wind just so happens to start blowing, and it begins waving side to side, so be it.
Yeah. Now, hey, Grit.
We deserve one at this point. Let's be real.
Grit.
Let's be honest.
Grit. Hey, Joey's not risking a loss. Going to Zoro, crit. One more kill, and then he takes us out with Cinderace. Fair is fair. Joey, shake my hand.
It would be a little bit better.
Shake my hand, Joey. Come on.
He's putting a lot of thought into this decision.
Yeah, he's tricking us into believing that there's some hope. But we do not have speed investment on this Pokemon. Now, it is max HP. We have some special defense, and we have the Fairy. So, maybe. Hey, is this a call an ambulance? But not for me.
I wonder if the desperation move is to Swords Dance and then go to war.
Strength Sap, because Strength Sap, and you can't Strength Sap the Iron defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
This is enough to draw me back into the battle. Give me enough hope to be crushed. Ben is really doing his best Tampa Bay Buccaneers impression, and I don't love it. Did he just go and click Avalanche?
He clicked Avalanche.
Okay.
I guess with Stabbed, would Avalanche do...
No, I think with damage calcs, there's no world where he's going to be able to Iron Defense up, which makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and yeah, okay. The way you win this is to get the crit with the Iron Valiant. And then Joey, known for his infamous blunders, right?
Yeah, he's known for making mistakes all the time. Like, he tripped backwards into winning the league last year.
Exactly. His Cinderace has no speed investment. Just a ridiculously silly set.
It's actually negative.
He doesn't even have any IVs in there. It's 0 IVs across the board. I actually think that this is the only Pokemon that he built a set for. He forgot the rest. He was too busy, I don't know, making a Squawkabilly monument in Pixelmon for some reason. Yeah, no. We're fine. We're fine. Just, yeah. No, crap. He's healing up. Okay, well.
Yeah, it's just so pesky. And it's what I talked about with this Mon, was being able to watch Ben in the mocks, have a plan for it. But so much of that plan was this be Terra Fairy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, I do like the fact that the Pokemon do have the multiple Terra types there is. Like, what Pokemon could Terra, but you're not going to know exactly what it's going to do, which is, there's some fun to that. If anything could Terra into any type, there's no ability to predict. It gets way too offensive. I didn't like the Z Crystals for that reason. I think this is perfectly built, but for this matchup, for this Pokemon, I mean, it is a threat, McThreat. Thready McThreatster. Now, what do we do next time we battle Joey? I don't know. I think we just have a talk man to man. Olives. Do we need them? No, I don't think so.
We sit down together and crush the olives into paste.
Wait, this is a big deal. Oh, never mind.
Well,
okay.
Back to the
stupid.
Olive paste.
Yeah. Okay. What were you saying?
We crush the olives into paste.
Okay. Yes.
And we. Okay, wait. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Dogs eat olives.
Oh, okay. Well, we have dogs.
Yeah. Yep. Dogs can eat them. We feed it to the dogs.
Okay. Bad news. My dog weighs like 9 pounds. Can't eat that many olives.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to contribute that much paste.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. All right. Crit.
We've got the plan.
Crit. Joey made a really dumb Cinderace set. Crit. And no berry on the Swampert. I think it would be Rindo Berry. Am I smart? Do I remember berries?
Are you very smart?
Okay. Man, if this battle went even a little bit better. I'd have to say suspension for that. But that might have been one of the better things that we were able to throw out here in this game. So I guess at this point, you can't drop the defense because of the Cinderace. So then you see if you can. No, you have to close combat and you have to crit. It would have been cool.
That would have been sick.
Like 1 kill from crit after everything that happened in this battle. Like, there wasn't a world where we won after that outside of us, kind of slandering Joey. But this is a tough one. There were like 3 different parts to this battle. There was the aggressive play that did not work out. Crits. Very good olives. And
not enough rapid spins.
Not enough rapid spins. And the genuine spin zone here is with how this battle went. There is nothing Joey learned from this battle. If we play him again in the playoffs, hey, he got lucky with crits. It's not why he won, but he got lucky with crits, which didn't allow him to really see our entire team. You can't bank on that happening again. None of the strategies really worked because of the crits, but also because of the Arboliva set. Now, Joey, I can't imagine he'd bring the same set next time. He would probably want to switch it up, expecting Ben to over-prepare for that specific Pokemon. But we know how Joey beats our team. Joey certainly has no idea how we beat his team. Unless he looks through the team that was brought in, wow, what a genius, awesome strategy, taking notes. But I'm excited to talk to Coach Ben. I'm a little nervous, but I am interested in his thoughts on the Arboliva. And most importantly, there's a lot of jokes and silly things we threw, Tyler. Hats off to Joey. Joey's a fantastic guy. I love him to death. And he's one of the best battlers I've seen in the singles format. Whether it's Smogon. I mean, back to like Shoddy Battle, Pokemon Online, Tiers, Draft League. You could throw him into anything and he's going to succeed. I wish things were a little bit closer, but man, I really hope we get another chance to play him. It's always an honor, but time for Coach Ben.
A bit more of a somber tone compared to last week, as we're joined now by our head coach, the Beneral, who through wins, through losses, no matter what, still number one in our heart. But this was a tough one, Ben, and it all started where in the opening turns of this game, we lose Metagross to the crit from Swampert. It felt like that had to be a crit that mattered. I don't think there's any way that Swampert would have killed Metagross without that crit, or it would have had to have been a roll, and if it was a roll, felt like that would have gone in our favor. So walk us through not just the numbers on that one, but also how that affected everything else that followed.
Yeah, that wasn't a great way to start the battle. I was forced to switch out there because I couldn't let my Garchomp get burned. I don't know if Metagross was the right play, but either way, something was basically going to get sacrificed there because that was the choice band Swampert. That crit only somewhat matters. 88% of the time, we do live there. But, I mean, he does get a 12% chance roll that he does still Okome, so it is what it is there, and truthfully, I don't think I would have regained as much health as I wanted to, because I really only would have gotten it via his grassy terrain with that cursed olive tree. So, if anything, it's just rough, because Metagross was, I think, my best Pokemon in that rough matchup, just based off prep from both sides. Originally, yes, it's a downhill prep for Joey, but based off of what each team brought, it was definitely more tough on my side, as you can see due to the Arboliva. Metagross was definitely way more important in this match, and it would have been way different if I was able to get it in, even versus the Swampert just free, and then get that Magnerise, and then continue being a nuisance. Because body presses were very good against his team. Like, if I was able to do that properly with Metagross and Glastrier, yeah, it could have been entirely different. But, I mean, the crit, that second turn, at least, out of the 4 that he got that game, that second turn crit, definitely a little bit annoying, but it is what it is after we quit the Jirachi last week, you know? It happens, it's Pokemon.
Coming into the season, our draft was heralded as one of the best drafts in this league, maybe the best draft, and a lot of people are saying one of the better drafts they've ever seen. Week 2, and we absolutely had at least one big flaw exposed. Is there anything we can learn from this matchup and learn from what happened with Arboliva? I still really believe in this team, in this matchup. I'll never not believe in you, Coach, but is there a spin zone we can take from the olive tree and what it did to us?
That olive tree was very annoying in this matchup for sure. Like I mentioned, I knew Terra Fire was a problem because Joey specifically made the transaction the night before transactions closed going into week 2. So I knew Terra Fire was very likely. I mentioned to my front office after we already started prepping ahead of time. And I'm like, it can deal with Electrode a little bit. It can absolutely wall Ceruledge. It can deal with Horse. It can deal with Metagross. Like, it makes a whole bunch of sense. And you get, like, also the offensive pressure of just spamming Fire-type moves and being able to deal with the Moongus as well. So it's just like, I knew it was an issue. But unfortunately in prep, I still kind of faced majority Terra Fairy from my front office. And I still respected that as an option for him as well. So, if anything, it was a little bit of an oversight in prep to where I kind of got recency bias just based off of some of the assistants. Huge shout out to my front office, though. I appreciate them every week with the mocks and assistants and team building. Obviously, it was great in the matchup, and Joey knew that. That's why he made the transaction. So, definitely just a small oversight, and just the, you know, the abusive power of Seed Sower Grassy Terrain with Giga Drain boosting the damage and getting all that health regen, and then Strength Sap just being annoying. It literally couldn't die. It's definitely something where that was just an ace up the sleeve for sure. So if we were to face Joey again, it would be entirely different. I would have more prep for that. Whether or not I over prep for it, we'll see. But in general, I would need more special attackers and just a better way to deal with it. Even Garchomp, I threw Earth Power down there knowing I could be facing Grassy Terrain, knowing I'm getting like Will-O-Wisp from Cinderace. But I mean, Garchomp only got base 80 special attack. Arboliva is very bulky. I really wasn't doing much. And with the Giga Drain and the Grassy Terrain, it's just like, even if I didn't throw away Garchomp, or if it was healthy, it's just like, I'm not getting off enough Earth Power damage due to his amount of recovery. To where that thing just had an amazing matchup versus my prep. So it would definitely be an interesting rematch at the very least to have to face that Olive Branch again, apart from all of the other threats that he actually has. So But definitely just a unique scenario. Nothing that I really have to like worry too much about in terms of like the remainder of Pokemon we need to see. I just need to be more cautious maybe of defensive Terras and respecting them a little bit more, especially if they're able to, you know, deal with my physical threats a lot, because that was a huge thing in this matchup. What's that? Oh, I just got booth from John and Tyler that they're lazy and I'm sending out the outro. So, the 5-0 loss is nothing that the Playmore fans want to see, nothing that I wanted to see. It was a very frustrating match not being able to deal with one Pokemon, then getting crit 4 times. Not all of them mattered, but it just kind of hurt getting crit that much and being punished on my poor switches. Overall, poor prep, poor play on my part, so I apologize. I'm definitely going to focus a lot more on teams I am 100% more comfortable with. I was kind of skeptical of the team going into this battle, so that was kind of a red flag to begin with. So putting it past me, a loss this early on is what it is. If anything, it puts less pressure on me. A lot of you guys, love y'all, saying we were going to go undefeated this season. I am saying we were facing a lot of threats in the SPL, but I know our draft can do great. I know I have the talent to do it, and I have y'all's support, so I appreciate that so much. And we'll just carry on. We'll bounce back next week with a dub as we face Chimpact. I am positive of it. Just never forget, you can't spell Bubby without W.